How do individuals fit into the grand scheme of things? Let's see. I do immediately get the image of this almost infinite sphere that is very radiant, by the way, like, wow, it's very radiant. And so I'm looking at it from very far away, and as you zoom in, it does show individual. It's the reason it's radiant is because the surface is covered. I don't know what's inside, but the surface is covered with dots of light, very, very close together, so that it looks like one solid mass of radiance. So we're zooming in farther, and there are these individual points of light that radiate, so that each light radiates out further than the point that they're showing up as. And those radiations overlap each other, which also gives the impression of it's a single lighted giant sphere. But the reason it looks that way is because there are many of these individual lights that have a radiance around them. As you zoom in closer, they're showing me dandelion heads, like each one could be represented by a dandelion that is ready to have, that has all the little white seeds, and you're ready to go and blow them off. But there's that little sphere of these beautiful little white seeds, and when you look even more closely at them, they each have a little kind of like it radiates out and interconnects with other little radiating seeds. I believe that the dandelion represents an individual. They're also indicating that for each individual, there can be a larger or a smaller radiance around them, probably representing something like our auric field. But in any event, basically, these energy fields all overlap. They all interplay with each other. They all are required to form the whole. Each one is necessary, you might say, to form that complete sphere of light. And the idea of each one is like a drop in the ocean, except it's easier to see a dandelion next to another one than it is to figure out where is that drop in the ocean. But the concept is the same. It's part of the whole, or each individual is part of the whole. And the sphere, the basic great big sphere, represents it represents God, but they almost give you another word here. Creative force, which is probably what many people think of as part of God. A creative force, a unity, a coherence. Apparently there are a lot of adjectives we could put to the concept of God that people don't, those aren't the words that are adjectives that normally come up. Coherence, whatever I said before, those aspects of God are present in everyone. And that's what's represented by being, all the individuals being stuck on this sphere. The sphere is God. What I'm curious about now is if God is omnipresent or omniscient or whatever, does that mean each one of us have that at each one of us? Oh, yes. It's like, yes. Now, yes, we all have that aspect of it. Now, keep in mind, each individual embodies even those attributes of God. Now, the distinction has to be made that each of those dandelion heads represents each individual's entire spirit, and that a portion of that spirit will enter into a physical body to come down and have the earth plane experience. The whole of our spirit contains every attribute of God. Whoa, that's pretty cool. The portion of our spirit that comes down into our physical body feels like it's a little diluted. It's not our entire spirit. It's just a portion of our spirit that comes down into physical body. So it isn't as strong, you might say, as it is within our whole dandelion. But nevertheless, those attributes are there. They are present. They are in the system, and it's a matter of us in our earth plane experience discovering that, paying attention to that, growing that, becoming aware that we embody to a greater or lesser extent, all of those qualities. And apparently where that shows up is when people talk about having a very strong intuition, people acknowledging that they sometimes can see into the future, what is physically possible for our physical eyes, being able to see beyond that, things like that. Oh, compassion, understanding, those things that don't appear to be physical. But those are the evidences, that's confirmation that God is in us. And we have access to all of those attributes as well. And then it's brought up like in particular, we particularly have, it's important to connect with the love, the love, the love and compassion. And I'm getting that feeling entirely in order to be able to try to express how important that aspect of it is. The love and compassion always feels like it goes out. It's not something we hold and are selfish about, I guess you'd say. When we feel love from the universe, and even from others, okay, it goes out and builds it encompasses everything in the space. Many of us have had the experience of walking into a room where two people are in love, and they may not be saying anything to each other. They may be sitting at their workstations working away, but you can just feel, oh my gosh, it feels good in here. I bet those two are in love, that kind of thing. The reason these things are coming up to demonstrate that you probably know this. You have experiences in your life that will help underscore and help you really believe that we have access to all those attributes of God that we're interested in finding within ourselves. We all have access to all those attributes of God. What a beautiful thing.